What's going on, everybody? I have Nadeem here, one of our clients at Stryker Digital. He's been on an absolute tear over the last 12 to 24 months or so. So welcome, Nadeem. Could you tell us a little bit about your business, what your growth has been like over the past 12 to 24 months?
Yeah, totally. And thanks for having me. I'm super pumped. So we hired Stryker Digital in, I think, January of 2024. So we're a window and glass company. We replace windows in people's homes. And to that point, we had been using one of the larger home service marketing companies, SEO, Google Ads, LSA, Yelp, kind of all your standard plays there on top of some traditional. So massive company we had hired, we were paying them, in agency fees like $5,000 a month for 2 years, right? So in January of 2024, when we looked at the previous year, we were spending $17,000 a month, and I don't know, 12% of our revenue. And most of the revenue wasn't coming from any of these paid sources. And so I'm like, dude, I've had enough. They cannot figure it out. I couldn't tell where any lead was coming from, and I waited way too long to get rid of them. So when we brought on Stryker, I mean, immediately our GMB just started kind of going off, and so did our website. But it also ramped up LSA. PPC works better. Like everything got better for our marketing. So in terms of numbers, I posted this on Twitter, and I know Bodie shared it, but I think like we tripled multiple months this year. November of 2023, we did $106,000. We did $329,000, this November. Yeah, so that's the growth. That's what it's been like, it's been really great.
Yep, that's amazing. And the story that you share of working with some of these just like larger corporate companies is a pretty similar story that we hear all the time. And so one way that we try and separate ourselves is we are very transparent. When we send you the proposal, here's the deliverables. These are the things that are going to move your needle and that we're going to provide you every single month. That way you can hold us accountable, if those weren't met. Because an issue that I see a lot is people will go with these major companies because they have a lot of social proof. They look professional, they look great, and they just say, "Yep, we'll do your SEO for you, and here's the bill. Check back in like 6-8 months,"
Yep.
because they understand it's going to take some time, but there's no deliverables, and then they kind of just get taken advantage of a lot because if you don't know SEO, which the average business owner just isn't going to know it because you have to do it to know it,
Yep.
you can just get taken advantage of because you almost have to trust that, okay, these guys seem like they know what they're talking about. And then they're not transparent in what they're actually going to deliver you. So you have no way to hold them accountable. So it's a story that we see pretty much time and time again. And it sounds like, you went through that same experience.
Yeah, really the best advice I have for really, I consider our business and a lot of the people we interact with as like super small businesses, right? And like that's the reality, right? We are super small businesses. We're, that sort of $1 to $4 million range. It's really hard to know what to spend money on and what not to spend money on and what is working and what isn't. So, but my takeaway is we have a Slack channel with everyone at Stryker Digital. I can and I do this, I won't look at it for 3 weeks and then I'll just blast them with like, yo, fucking this, excuse my language. We can edit that part out. This, that, and the other. And I'll ask questions and can you guys help me with this? Can you help me with that? And they're like, yeah, boom. Multiple people will chime in and do their part. Whereas a traditional agency, when you're in that $1 to $4 million range, you're not spending enough money. Like if you go hire, I don't even want to say specific names, but there's some really big home service marketing companies that are really famous. If you go hire them, you are so far at the bottom of the totem pole that I would get a monthly check-in. It would be a Zoom call. And they'd be like, yeah, so you're ranking on the first page for these keywords. And then I would Google it and I'd be like, no, we're not. And they'd be like, well, you are. And I'm like, okay. And that was the report, So you know the size, there's like a certain hunger that the guys at Stryker have, a certain like ambition, which is it's honestly just perfect because you know they're hungry. They're not the big agency that's been around for 30 years. And so it's really the perfect partnership if you're a small business to go, man, I found young, hungry dudes who are like grinding and learning and learning what's best. It's the perfect matchup.
Yeah, a way that I see that too is because you probably feel this way, and 99% of all the people we work with feel this way. So for us, it's like I care so deeply about every single person we work with. One, my face is attached to this. Like, this is my reputation,
Yeah,
and it takes a long time to build a reputation, and you know how quickly that can be diminished. It can happen quick. So, I'm up losing sleep if we're not getting someone to where I want to get them in a period of time, because it's just like, people are coming to you, depending on you to help grow their business, which means to help them feed their family, feed their employees' family. It's a really big responsibility when you take that perspective. And the bigger and bigger company that it is, all of that gets lost. There's not as much personal connection or feel of responsibility because it's just flowing in and out. And
totally.
you can get that sense in a lot of businesses, like, or even if you're in like a major hospital, you're going through there for surgery or something, right? You're another body that's coming through there. There's going to be 10 more of you
Yep,
tomorrow that come through, so you get that feeling.
yep, totally.
So how did you decide to work with us once you found us? What was the separating factor that you thought, I'm going to give these guys a go?
Um, really, I looked at what is the oh, I'm sorry, my phone's ringing. I looked at why did I have such poor success with this big company? Why did I spend so much money? 2023 was really a bad year, um, and so I genuinely made the decision because I'm like I saw you guys posting on Twitter and I saw sort of you guys got that young energy, and I know it sounds funny. I'm young too, although I look old. I like to think I'm young. I'm like, dude, these guys are hustling, like hustling. Like I see them like every day hustling, right? As opposed to there was an org chart with the last agency, and I had like a customer service number to call, right? And like no one was hustling there. That's just unfortunately what happens as you get bigger. And so that was the decision for me. I'm like, I remember thinking like, I'm gonna send these guys some money, and like, it can't get worse. So what's gonna happen? I'm like, they're hustling. They need to like make a name for themselves, and then you have like really quick. It's kind of crazy how much you guys have blown up in the last year. Um, but that's how I made that decision, right? I think I even told you or Bodie, I'm like, I don't even read proposals. I'm just like, we're good. Like, let's just try it, right? And it's
Yep.
been
Yeah,
amazing
it's the personal connection
for sure.
is the big part.
Yep.
Yep. And that's why, like for us with YouTube channel and Twitter and things like that, it's a lot easier to build that connection because you feel like you know people over time when you get to see how they interact for long periods of time, where you've interacted with them for a period of time prior to working with somebody. And even just seeing other people sharing the results and things like that goes a long way. So what would you say, if there's another business owner who's considering working with us, whether on the edge or not sure, they've probably been burned by other agencies in the past. What would you have to say to them?
This is what I would say. I would say before you make a decision, go online and take a digital inventory of how well your company is doing in SEO. Right, so go figure out. There are tools you can use like that map generator you guys have shown me, but there's a million of them. But go take a solid inventory of where your company is at. Understand that the price that you guys charge isn't high, right? So like if that's a factor for them, maybe their business just isn't big enough to even use you because it's not high. It should be a very very small percentage of your revenue if you're considering hiring Stryker Digital. So it's like, okay, that shouldn't be a factor. Um, Take that inventory, hire them, and have a hard date of like, okay, in 8 months, I'm going to redo my inventory of where we stand in the marketplace online. And if it's where I want, then we're good. If it's where I'm not, and unfortunately with SEO, you have to give it that time and like you have to kind of invest that money. So there's no convincing you other than like this is a relatively small fee, right? It's a couple grand a month. I think on the high end maybe. Like I don't know the pricing, but it's not a big investment. So that's what I would tell business owners. If you're doing $1 million in revenue or 800,000, whatever, yeah, you have to be doing SEO. You don't really have a choice. Go hire them and understand where you're starting and where you're ending in 6 months. And there's your math. That's really the best way to do it, right? In my opinion, it's not that much money to waste either. So, yeah,
Yep.
that's how I made
Yeah,
that
and
decision. And that's probably wild to people, but that's how I
yeah.
do it.
Well, it makes total sense because the thing is with SEO, it's like everybody realizes, even if they don't really know what SEO is, they understand the importance of ranking high on Google. Because if you're not, you're just not going to get the customers. You know, the top 3 guys, the top 5 guys, they're going to get 100% of the clicks. No one's going to page 2 and page 3 to find you. It's just finding that reputable provider that can do it for you and communicate with you, which is like why we have that Slack channel, because we don't want to be the people where you send us an email, you don't hear from us for 3 days. You don't feel like anything's personal at all. Versus how you mentioned, you know, you can just pop into the Slack, send a message, and we're all there. Everybody's there,
Yeah, dude.
and our response times are very quick because you collect feedback over time. And then Bodie, for people watching this, is the co-founder. Previously owned the dumpster rental company. Who, when he first started, tried using some marketing agencies, and it was just that same thing. It's like nobody, you don't feel like anybody actually cares about you or your results. You're kind of just sending your money out every single month and really unsure. And the stance that we take at Stryker is that, yes, we're an agency and you have the right to like fire your clients and things like that. You're not technically an employee, but we really look at it. I think the right mindset for an agency is to look at it like you are an employee, and you should communicate as much as possible because people are paying you like potentially like a low salary for a full-time employee, and nobody wants to pay their employee and just think, are they doing their job? I don't know. I
Right.
didn't hear from them. I hear from them once a month. Nobody wants to feel that way.
Totally.
And I think that's like a lot of the traditional setups are in that standard. So that's a mold that we've been trying to break too. But Nadeem, thank you so much for this. Really, really thankful for it.
Yeah, no problem, dude. Thank you. And I look forward to continuing to work with you. We're going to crush 2025. It's going to be kind of insane, but I think we can double. So we'll see.
Awesome.
All right,
All
dude.
right. Thank you.
Bye.